On this design channel, I cover a lot of videos about my own design and my own design process. In today's video, I want to talk about 5 of my biggest design inspirations. Now, these guys are web designers, product designers, just people that inspire me, creative people. So let's talk about them today. The first designer I want to talk about today is Tobias van Schneider. Now, this is a guy that I've been following for a long time. He's one of the first designers that I actually was inspired by. If you look at his work, you'll see there's something quite different about it. You know, a lot of people follow certain design trends. I feel like Tobias has always managed to stand out from the crowd, be it one way or another. But if you look at his website, everything about this is different. He's just an all-round creative guy. I mean, this was one of his most recent projects and he just built out a motorbike. The guy has a passion for motorbikes, so he built his own motorbike, or designed it at least, which looks cool as hell. I first seen his work when he was working for Spotify. Now, this was way back in the day. I think it was around 2012, and this was when he came on my radar. And if you look at some of the design here, this was back when Spotify started to kind of look like, you know, just a stock sort of app into having its own sort of brand and product presence. And I think Tobias was one of the people behind kind of taking what it used to look like to what it still looks like today, even though he still doesn't work for the company. But I think Tobias just did a really good job of injecting some character into what Spotify has become. And I'm sure there was a bunch of really other creative people, but I know Tobias was definitely behind this in some way. And one of the absolute coolest things I think any designer could work on is he did the branding for NASA's Mars mission, which is absolutely insane. His logo is literally on a rocket that went to Mars. It's on the Mars rover. I can't think of anything cooler as a designer than to have your work literally on another planet. Now, all of that is why Tobias is definitely one of my biggest design inspirations. Now, next up, we have Mark from DesignLoom. Mark is a designer that I recently came across on X, and his work is some of the highest fidelity Figma work you'll see anywhere. It seems like he specializes a lot in audio software, and his work is some of the highest quality, most thought out interfaces you'll see anywhere. He does such a good job of making things feel real, giving it real tactile depth, but also just making it easy and simple to use. You know, since following Mark's work, he's not only inspired me as a designer, he's also just kind of opened the scope for what interface design can actually be. Now, you might not think a lot of this interface stuff, it lends itself very well for web, but it definitely does, because look at some of Mark's web work too. He really does a good job of bridging that gap of high fidelity, real looking things, but in a simplistic way that just fits and looks futuristic. I'm a big fan of Mark and DesignLoom, so if you want to check out his work, definitely do so. Next up, we have James McDonald, who is actually a fellow designer from Scotland, and this guy's UI work is absolutely incredible. He's been doing a lot of product work that I've been seeing recently, and a lot of the stuff at first glance, it looks quite simple, but if you zoom in on any little detail he has, it has the most subtle extra ingredients to take a design from good to great. I think he does a really good job of making things that are clean and simple, but not being as simple as they first appear. You know, when you zoom in on everything's got a little extra touch that kind of just elevates it above, you know, just a simple stroke or a simple shadow. James he's got some stuff in his tool bag that I think really help elevate his designs to the next level, and he's a big inspiration to me. Okay, up next, we've got Fons Mans. So Fons is a Dutch designer with a massive following, and you've probably seen his work before because it's incredible. So his design studio right now is off-grid, and if you have a look at the caliber of work they do, you will be inspired. So a lot of this you've probably seen before. They did like some marketing stuff for Bolt, and everything he does is super clean, but it's super thought out and it's simple. And I think a lot of the best designers can make something simple out of something quite complex. What I like about his work too is that it's quite colorful and playful a lot of the time, but it's still very professional and it's very dialed in. You know, once you start playing with lots of different colors, it can be quite difficult to keep that tight and keep it cohesive, keep it professional. But Fons does an excellent job of making something playful, but also professional. Big inspiration. Last up, we have Tran, who makes some of the most playful designs you will ever see. His UI and product work is so damn clean, but he does a really good job of making it playful, colorful, fun, and just something that you actually want to use. He can take a product that's in a typically boring niche and make it fun to use. If you look through his designs, you'll see there's a lot of color, there's a lot of rounded edges, there's subtle shadows and depth to everything. His work to me feels like a Disney movie. in the best sort of way imaginable. Because it's one thing to make a professional product, but to be able to make it fun and cool and professional, but still usable, no one does it better than Tran. One of my absolute favorite designers out there, making designs that I wish all of the internet looked like. So that is 5 of my biggest web design, product design inspirations. If you guys have your own, let me know in the comments. I'd love to go check them out. And if there was anyone obvious that I missed, let me know who you think that person is. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this, and I will catch you guys soon with another video. Bye.